Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. We are back. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys for rocking with me the way you do. I see Green Dot Gang is heavy in the building. Dangerfield, Shalid. Come on, man. All my people, man. Hizzle, Marty. Come on, man. 505, CPT. Salute to you guys, man. Make sure you guys wipe them feet. Also, hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. I am running on fumes right now, you guys. I had no sleep last night. Finally back home, Dallas, Texas. Had a great time in Atlanta, man. Salute to my mom. Had a wonderful time hanging out with her. Running on fumes here, you guys. So bear with me, but we got a lot to talk about today. There's too much to talk about. I wasn't going to skip today at all. We had to talk about this Maxx Crosby stuff. I want to speak about the whole Kay Adams situation because I have a lot of thoughts on the way she goes about her business. We're going to talk about Fernando Mendoza. He is out there killing it at Radio Row right now for the Super Bowl. And we're going to talk about some coaches that we let go today and some coaches that we retained, at least for the time being. So make sure before we get to that, you guys hit those likes, hit that subscribe button. And before we get there, man, salute to Shalid just dropping a bomb immediately. Salute to my dog, man. Always showing love over here at OLV Raiders Network. Salute to all the new members here in the building because of Shalid, one of the GOATs over here at Shieldmore. If you missed out on those 20 and you want to become a member, make sure to hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on over here at OLV Raiders Network. Shalid, my brother, I appreciate you, man. Jeffrey says, Max has to be pissed at Glazer. What the F is Glazer on to go speak on stuff that maybe he shouldn't have? Let me say this, all right, Jeffrey, because I need to clear some things up here, you guys, all right, real quick. A lot of people were hitting me up on Twitter. I couldn't respond to all because there was so many people saying the same thing. Oh, Graphk spoke to Max, blase blah. I know on the show that we did the other day, I said, man, I should try to reach out to Max and see what the hell is going on. Let me say this. I haven't spoken to Max. I reached out to him. All I said was simple and plain. Whatever happens, brother, we love you over here in Raider Nation. Salute to you. We're going to back you through anything that you choose to do. Simple and plain. It was a simple message of, if pretty much if this noise is real, we rock with you heavy. Okay. So again, I'm not going to hit up Max, you guys, and ask him if he's going to be a Raider or if he's, going to get traded. Because again, why would he tell me this? Right? Why would he tell me this? I mean, he has his own platform. Him and his best friends run it. They have a really good podcast over there. If you guys don't follow him, make sure you do. And there's other platforms that he's tied to where he can go on there and let people know, hey, this is what's going on. I want to say this real quick, Jeffrey. Jay would not have said any of that, if he didn't know something. Simple and plain. Jay didn't benefit from that. I mean, why would he benefit going on someone else's platform? Salute to our family over there, Jason Fitz, on Yahoo. They have the podcast over there that Jason runs. Salute to him. And he'll be on the show here again very soon. And I definitely want to pick his brain about, that interview and how everything came together. But I want to say this, okay? With this situation, where there's smoke, there is definitely fire. And I know people think, oh, blah, blah, blah. Look, you guys know me. I've been one of the major advocates for Max. Every single offseason, I'm the one going out there. This is bullshit. This is cap. This is this. This is that. I'm not buying into any of it, okay? I'm not buying into any of it. This year, call it what you see it. I do. I'm buying into it. And I think that the way the Raiders are going about their business with this organization now is totally different than they have in recent years. I put it out there on Twitter that, the Raiders are being very clean this offseason. Their decision-making, they're operating like a non-dysfunctional organization in the Big 2-6. If a player in Vegas, if they want a player in Vegas, they'll take the silent approach. If they move on from a player, they will quietly make the move if it makes sense. Tom and Spy showed who they are the way they handled that Clint Kubiak situation. This is a new era, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Simple and plain. I'm not here to speak for Maxx because, again, I don't want people to look at this as Maxx told me anything. Maxx didn't tell me shit. Maxx doesn't owe anybody anything. He went on today, and we'll talk about what he said, and he was in the building today. Cool. Respect it. Love it that he went on Colin Cowherd and had a conversation about this. I'm going to be real with you guys. I think that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. I've spoken to several people, not Maxx. I need to put this out there again. Not Maxx Crosby, but other people that are, privy to the situation, close to the organization. And there's a lot more smoke to this situation than there is in recent memory. Okay. I would not be shocked if, what did Maxx say today during that interview? He said, I kind of learned my lesson, going out there and saying things and blah, blah, blah. And I've been speaking, I've been taking my mentor's word for things and kind of just being less vocal about things. If you want to get out of Vegas, what do you gain by saying, I want to get out of Vegas? Right? There could have been a conversation behind the scenes that, with Spy Tech and company. Hey, I want to see what's out there. This offseason, let's see if we can get me to a contender. If it makes sense for both parties, let's make the move. Right? But again, I see so many people saying Maxx killed the narrative. If you guys read between the lines here, nothing was really truly said. And that's no knock on Maxx, because I love Maxx Crosby and he knows this. Big fan of him. Loved Maxx since he's been drafted to our beloved Raiders. But again, today was a masterclass in my eyes. It was very much so. I'm in the building. I have my Raiders gear on. I'm here like I always am. Nothing changes. But again, previously, before this, I want to be a Raider, blah, blah, blah. He said it a million times prior. Today, it was just kind of a word salad to me, just being honest. It was kind of like random people saying this for me, saying that for me. I'm not buying any of it, honestly. And Larry, hopefully Maxx does not go anywhere. Great. I want him to retire a Raider. I put this out there on Twitter the other day, and I said it on the Graphk and the Graphk show, that I want him to be our next Howie Long. I would love for him to retire a Raider. But I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than a lot of people choose to. You guys don't want to believe this. Fans don't want to believe this. Sometimes you have to take your fan cap off, and you have to look at how this thing looks in the grand scheme of things. Take your fan goggles off, okay? Take your fan goggles off. And look at how everything is coming across the desk this offseason. It's totally different. It's totally different. All I'm saying is this. Maxx, if you went out publicly and said, get me out of here, that affects potentially some places he can go. It can reflect poorly on the Raiders organization. They're trying to clean this mess up right now. They don't want to be a dysfunctional organization anymore where their best player, after going to get Clint Kubiak and having Fernando Mendoza on the menu in April for the draft, do you think the Raiders want to look like a messy organization right now? Simple and plain. Kevin, you can say BS, he's not going anywhere. I want to believe you. But again, what do you have? And same thing with me. I'm just going off of the people I have spoken with. It sounds like there's been a lot of noise behind the scenes with this situation for a while now. Okay. And yes, Joseph, he's not happy, right? Who would be? You're losing a ton of games. You're a competitor. You want to win a lot of ball games. As someone who idolizes the Muhammad Ali's, the Kobe's, the Jordans of the world, right? You want to be a winner. I respect it. And again, I do believe that, if Maxx doesn't work with the Raiders here, you guys, the Raiders can send him anywhere and take the best trade package out there. You can send him to Cleveland. You can send him to wherever. If he works with the Raiders hand in hand and says, hey, send me to a contender and, or let's just at least, see what's out there, so on and so forth, it helps both parties. Again, I'm not here to tell you guys that Maxx wants out. I'm just here to say that There's a lot more to this situation than a lot of you guys want to truly believe. Simple and plain. And again, who am I? I'm just a podcaster, right? I'm just a podcaster. I don't know nothing. I don't know shit. I'm not here to act as though Maxx Crosby told me this personally, because he did not. He has his own platform where he can speak for himself. You know, he can go on the Colin Cowherds of the world and all this other stuff if he chooses to and speak. But again, I got nothing out of that interview today. Nothing. Nothing. To me, it just felt like a very political interview where it was like, well, let me clean it up a little bit. And some of the words that he chose, it kind of seemed like, I'm going to put myself in the best position to. It just seemed as though there's a lot more to this situation. We'll go over what he said here in a second. But again, don't take my word for it. I'm just going off of a hunch and going off of some things that I was told and how I feel about this specific situation. I never truly believed that Maxx Crosby wanted out before. I always looked at it as he wanted his contract. He wanted more money. Okay? This is not that type of situation. Just signed a new deal. If he gets traded, he probably end up signing a new deal with the new team if he does decide to move on, right? This is a very easy contract to move off of. It's like $5 million in dead cap this next season. Then you save a ton of money. I think we'll be at like 130, 135, $130 million or something like that to work with. In the offseason, which is if you want to move on, Spy Tech and Brady, the time is now to do so. So again, we'll go over some of the words that he chose to use, to use today. Speaking to Colin Cowherd, we spoke about the family and all that good stuff. Look, I love Maxx, and I want what's best for him, but I want what's best for this organization. I want what's best for this team first and foremost. And if you don't want to be here, especially with Maxx, a guy that has earned the right to move on if need be, hey, I'm here for it. Again, I love Maxx Crosby. I want people to understand this, but I need you guys to take the fan goggles off for a minute and actually read the room a little bit. Read between the lines a little bit. Look at what was said and say, okay, it's a little different, right? It's easy to say, I've learned from the past. I'm going to be less vocal. I'm going to do this and do that. Because the more loud you are, your stock kind of takes a hit. But it is what it is. Let me catch up on these supers real quick. Yo, what up with my brother? Hey, Maxx will let Glazer take the fall for this. 98 knows what he's doing. Do we get Schwartz? Who replaces Maxx? Let me say this.com. I agree. I don't think that he's going to allow Glazer to take a hit. I seen the video that Oos put up, and I want to say this. Salute to Oos. I love the video. I thought it was hilarious. But what is Glazer supposed to say? That Maxx told me this? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? He didn't even say that Maxx told him the first interview when all this transpired and all of it blew up. He's not going to say Maxx told me this personally. Look, if 20 teams are calling Glazer and saying, is this a real thing? You don't think that he is not privy to the situation? He's not close to this situation? If people are calling Jay about Max's availability, you don't think for 1 minute that he doesn't know what the hell is going on in this situation? A personal friend of his? What does he gain by going on Yahoo Sports, a place that he doesn't even work for? I believe he works for Fox Sports. He could have sat down on his own page or did some and got. I see people saying he was doing this for clicks. Where does he monetarily gain from this by going on somebody else's show and putting the information out there? How? I'm just saying. But salute to my guy.com. And from what I've seen, it looks as though Schwartz is going to sit out a season. I know that he quit, in Cleveland, rightfully so. He thought he had the head coaching job. They chose to go with Todd Monken. From what Ian Rappaport and those guys put out there, I think Chef put it out there first that he's going to take a year off. So I don't know how this thing will work. I don't know if, he chooses to take one of these jobs that's available. I don't know yet. But again, I don't think that he's going to be available this offseason. I think he'll wait. I think that Schwartz.com at this point, I really truly believe he wants to be a head coach. I really truly believe that. And I don't think that he wants to just take a defensive coordinator job for the Raiders or the Cardinals or whoever the hell it is that, chooses to or that would love to bring him in. I think that he says, I think in his heart of hearts, he's saying the shit that I've done with Cleveland, I've earned the right to be a head coach. You know, I think he wants to right those wrongs that he had in Detroit as the head coach. So I think he's going to hold out. Personally, I think he'll hold out for this season, and then he'll come back next year and try to go to the next cycle and see if he can get a head coaching job. Salute to everybody here in the building. As always, I appreciate you guys. Let me make sure I catch up on all these supers. Salute to you guys. I'm so happy I'm home with my beautiful wife, beautiful kids. It was a long trip in Atlanta, but I'm just thankful that I am home back with the podcast, the lights, and all the good stuff. I'm so happy, man. Salute to Soul Chef. You've always advocated for Maxx to stay. Wasted, on the other hand, man's willing to axe anyone. I'd be scared to work for him. One bad day, and next thing I'm fired on my day off. Salute to Soul Chef, man. My dog, you hilarious, bro. Appreciate you. And I always have, and I always will. Maxx knows that, you know, he has his own, platforms, and he has, you know, access to every single platform out there, from Fox to Yahoo to ESPN to whatever. He's a megastar. He's a superstar, right? But he knows that I've always backed him over here at OLV Raiders Network since the beginning. And that's the reason why to this day we still communicate. We're cool. We chop it up. He hit me up on for my birthday a few weeks back. You know, Maxx is good people and a genuinely good person. And I respect what he does. You know what I mean? But again, when we're talking ball, you guys, I can take, you know, the personal relationship or whatever it is out and say, hey, I'm speaking on behalf of what I think with the Raiders and what's going on with this situation. I've always said it. And again, that same day that news dropped, we did a live where I was like, this is bullshit. This is cap. And then I seen Jay say it. And then I started making some calls because I'm like, okay, there may be something to this. And the calls that I made and some messages that were sent to me, I said, oh shit, this is there's definitely some legs to this situation. And I want you guys, once again, I'm going to reiterate this again. Maxx did not tell me personally anything. And why would he? Our conversations are basketball and you know, birthdays and, hey man, I hope you're good, brother. I hope you're good, brother. I don't hit him up for information. I'm not an insider. I just, sometimes shit comes across my desk. I don't reach out to football player. I've never asked Dante. I've never asked anybody what goes on in that locker room. That's just, that's not who I am. I don't ask any of these guys. I've never asked Dylan what the hell is going on behind closed doors. I've never asked anybody. Anything that's come across my desk is because somebody else has said, you know what, I would like for Graphk to know this. I've never asked anyone for any information. And that's 150% facts. At the end of the day, I'm not an insider. I just love this football team. I'm a podcaster. You know, I'm close with a lot of people, former guys, current guys, people that work in the organization. But again, I'm not going to reach out to Maxx and say, hey man, what is going on here? You know, blah, 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 because that's just not who I am. Salute the rough cuts. He ain't getting any younger. He's been injured and had surgery the last 3 seasons, $30 million against the cap. My point 02 is move on and get what you can. Bring him back and let him retire a Raider. Salute to my guy, rough cuts in the building. Appreciate you, brother. And you're definitely right. He's getting older. Definitely had some surgeries these last few seasons. I think that his contract is nothing though. Like, you don't move on from Maxx Crosby knowing that you can already have north of $100 million regardless with him remaining on the roster. You know, you cut Geno, you move on from Kappa, a few other guys, you free up some more space. You're still going to be potentially number 1 or number 2 in the NFL in salary cap, maybe number 3 at the minimum. But I'm not moving Maxx to save money, rough cuts. If I'm moving Maxx, it's because he wants to go somewhere else and because you believe that you can get the draft capital in order to build this thing up. If you can get that Cowboys one of those first round picks this year and the first next year, you know, Spytek and Brady are going to say, hey man, what do you think? They're going to have some conversations. But I'm going to say this. They're not going to move Maxx just because Maxx says that he wants to leave. It has to make sense, simple and plain. And I think that Maxx will want what's best for the Raiders as well. I think that this is an ideal situation, you guys, for Maxx and the Raiders if they choose to part ways, because they both respect and love the hell out of, you know, all parties. The Raiders Maxx loves the Raiders. He loves this fan base. He is a Raider at heart. Tom is trying to turn things around here with Spytek in tow, right? So again, this is it's a good situation in a bad situation, if that makes any sense. If Maxx wants to go, I think both parties are going to say, hey, we're going to take care of each other here. Because again, Maxx has put his body on the line since his rookie season with this Raiders team. He's been through some bullshit, a lot of rough years. The Gruden shit, the Josh McDaniels shit, the AP thing, the Pete Carroll thing. He's been through a lot. If he wants to leave, I get it. I totally understand. But again, you got to remember, it's not always, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I hate to sound all cliche and shit, but if you go to Dallas, I mean, look at Jerry. Look at the way he works, runs his organization. Do you think that you're better off in Dallas? I get that your family lives out here. Salute to mom and pops. Respect. I know he grew up out here. But again, that organization, you see the way that thing is ran. Do you go to Buffalo or what are some of these other teams? I mean, look at the shit show that they've had this offseason, right? So it's not always going to be greener pastures. And I think that Maxx is smart enough to know, okay, let me sit back and chill and look at the grand scope. Look at this through a bigger lens and see what makes sense. And if because he doesn't want to just go anywhere. He doesn't want to just go anywhere. It wouldn't make any sense. Would Chicago make sense? They can use an edge rusher, right? Do you want to take a late first-round pick this year to go get a talent that probably does not amount to even an inkling of what Maxx Crosby is? It has to make sense for both parties. But I'm telling you guys now, there's legs to this situation. And again, I'm gonna be real. Like listening to Maxx today, it seemed even more clear, crystal clear to me that there's more to this situation. And again, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, like, I watched, I listened, I observed, and I left that interview thinking, okay, from what I'm hearing, there's definitely some legs to this situation. So best case scenario is Rams 2 first this year. Stafford said he's coming back, right? Yes. Salute to him on the MVP win. He did state at the end of his speech with his daughters on stage, which was really dope, that he will return. McVay and company, they just brought in Cliff Kingsbury, at some capacity. I don't know what part, what coach or what part of the staff he's going to be, but that's an interesting pickup for them. Cliff Kingsbury, he's going to go learn a lot under McVay, and then he'll probably end up being one of the top names in next year's cycle to be a head coach because of the connection with McVay. But again, I mean, the Rams definitely can go all in this year, and that's an all-in move. I seen a potential trade where it was like 2 firsts from the Rams, I believe, and the Raiders get Byron Young, who was a Pro Bowler this year. I think he had like 12 and a half sacks. And he's only like 27, 28 years old, I believe. And the Raiders send Maxx and I believe a 3rd-round pick or something along those lines. Interesting. But again, and people love McVay. I mean, look what Stafford said, that he's just never seen a better leader of men than Sean McVay during his acceptance speech for the MVP. So that would be an interesting spot. And again, if you want to compete, we're better to go than LA with McVay. I mean, those guys are perennial playoff contenders every single year. Salute to my guy Soul. Salute to 2-4. I'm sick of this BS. Every year, get the best deal. Salute to my guy. Appreciate you, brother. As always, man, good to see my dog. Joseph, Maxx is doing PR control right now. There's a reason why he did all these interviews today, Greg. Well, let me say this, okay? Maxx needed to. With all the noise surrounding, I've talked to several people out there at Radio Row this week, and all the chatter is completely Maxx Crosby. I mean, look what Kay Adams is doing. She's asked every single player, St. Amon Brown with the Detroit Lions, what would it be? Every single player that she's interviewed has been pretty much Maxx Crosby. Looks like he's going to be traded. What would you like for him to be? She spoke to Ashton Genty. How many wings would you give Maxx from Applebee's to come back to the Raiders? It's like there's definitely legs to this situation here, you guys. Now, Kay is just very, very messy. I didn't realize how bad she was at her job until this week. I didn't realize. I don't really watch her, but to see, the way she goes about her business is just very clickbaity. It's the same questions to every player that comes in. She seemed very, everything was Maxx Crosby and Raiders. She comes off as a hater to me. And I understand that Devontae and her have a close connection. I believe they do like a weekly podcast or something like that. So the Raider hate probably stems from that, from what Devontae has said with his time in Las Vegas. But again, I mean, he needed to come out and say something. But again, today it's funny to me that today, and again, no knock to Maxx. I love Maxx. I need to repeat this, but he's Raidered out. He was in the building, just a week or so ago, right? Max, I haven't talked to any of those people. Haven't spoken to them. I just been with my family. And now today I'm in here every day and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm getting right from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm in here for 8 hours. Just a week or so ago, I haven't spoken to anybody over there in blah, blah, blah. So I don't find it, again, you guys read between the lines here. I don't find it a coincidence that Max was in the building, raided out, and, kind of spoken riddles today with Colin Cowherd. Again, believe what you guys want to believe. Okay, please believe whatever you want to believe. If it helps you sleep at night that you believe that Max is going to forever be a Raider and he doesn't want to leave, great. I love it for you. I just choose to believe that there's more to this situation than there has been in recent memory. Salute the hug. If Jay Glazer learned about this after Max's season shutdown, why his ass wait until right now to say something? Little strange sitting on news for a month. Just opinion like everybody. Well, let me say this, Hug. Why would you? Why wouldn't you? It's the Super Bowl. This is the biggest time, where newsworthy shit comes out. He said it in December at the end of the season, and then we have that little weird gap where it's really, really quiet, and then we have the Super Bowl, and then after that we have free agency and the draft and all that other stuff, right? Why wouldn't you hold on to it till right now? He said it in December. It's not like he didn't speak about this 4 weeks ago. The question was asked to him from a Raiders fan, Jason Fitz, salute to our guy, and he responded, and he did not change his stance at all. And I do not find a coincidence that he stood on business, regardless of what he said to Oops. You know what I mean? I see you got, but again, this is no knock to Oops. I love Samoan. See, y'all don't know TJ's my family in real life. That's my brother. Like, I've traveled with him. We stayed in Airbnbs with the wives together. That is my guy. Like, I love TJ. But Jay Glazer's probably looking at him like, okay, who are you? You probably was just laughing and joking and kind of laughing it off and kept it moving. It was very, very brief. It was very brief. It wasn't like an extensive conversation. It was a quick little boop, boop, gone. Laugh out loud, boom, gone. I'm not taking anything. That didn't change my thought process on that situation at all. If anything, it was just kind of like Jay just laughing it off with the Raiders fan. That's just how I looked at it. I didn't look at it as he was going back on anything he said at all. I mean, why would he? Do you think that he's going to sit there with TJ, with Oos, and sit there for an hour and break down why, he said this? No, he just went on Yahoo, one of the bigger platforms in the media space, and said what he said. Just is what it is. I don't expect him to sit there and be like, well, this is why, with a random fan. I don't see it. Even, like me too. I mean this, if I was out there and I approached him the way TJ did, I would expect the same response. And I would have just laughed it off. But I love it for Oos because that was a really good clip. It's circulating all over the place. It went viral. I love this because Oos is a good person. He just lost his channel, and I'm hoping and praying that he gets his channel back. And I believe he will. But I know he has a new channel on YouTube. Go check it out, Samoan Raider. But I love this for him. But again, I'm not leaving. I'm not watching that video, and it's not changing my stance on this situation. Shalib, Graphk, in your opinion, do you think maybe Max is waiting to meet with the potential new head coach, Kubiak, and maybe fill him out and make his final decision? Or do you think he's just cleaning up after Glazer dropped the bomb? I think he's cleaning up. Look, I think he loves the idea of Kubiak. He spoke highly about him with Jim Gray, I believe, on their podcast. Who won it, right? He did some great things in Seattle, was the OC this year. But again, I mean, you look at the writing here, Shalib, you got a rookie quarterback coming in. Usually in year one, it's going to be a process to get him up to speed. You got a young offense. You need an entirely new defense, right? He's probably thinking, who was going to be my defensive coordinator? I don't have any familiarity with, unless they bring up Rob Leonard, who stayed on the staff, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But again, there's a lot of moving parts to this. He's probably looking like, we need a whole new defense. I want to win now. The injuries are starting to pile up, Shalib. And I think that he's realizing, oh shit. Like, I'm not Terminator. I'm not my body is going to give out just like everybody else's at some point. And I think that Maxx is he's finally realizing, if I want to win a championship and I want to preach that I'm this, this hard worker and have a champion mindset, I think he's thinking right now is this the time to make a move in order to do so, because of the Raiders clearly rebuilding. Now, can that rebuild be a big year in year one under Kubiak and Fernando Mendoza? Definitely. We've seen the Commanders and other teams do some crazy things. New England this year is in the Super Bowl after going 4-13, after having a great free agency and a great draft, right? So, but does Maxx want to bet on that? Does he want to bet on that? I don't know. Again, there's so many moving parts to this situation. Salute to KC. Trade only works if you draft well. I do trust Spy Tech. KC, I do. I'm not going off of his first draft class because Pete Carroll refused to play those guys. Now, in year two, I want to see what Besh can do. I want to see what Dante can do. I want to see what Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant can do. Then I'll determine if he had a really good draft. But I can't go off of his first draft, because of Pete Carroll refusing to play those young guys. Free agency, what did you expect him to do? It was a bad free agency class. He wasn't going to go out there and spend a ton of money. This is a way, way better free agency pool. And guess what? Because he didn't pull the trigger last year, now we have a ton of money at our disposal to get it right in this offseason. I trust Spy Tech. I trust him. I do. And because of the people, a lot of people around NFL circles that I truly believe in, that I really believe, are very, very locked in on football, the X's and O's side of things and all that other stuff. They love Spy Tech, and they truly believe that look, man, Spy is one of the main reasons, you guys, one of the main reasons that Kubiak is coming in to be the head coach of our Las Vegas Raiders. Simple and plain. The connection with Gary Kubiak in Denver, and Gary said that he used to lean on him in Denver, the year they won a championship out there. He's one of the main reasons that he is even the Raiders head coach right now. Well, going to be the Raiders head coach in the next 3 or 4 days after the Super Bowl. So yes, I do. I'm not basing year one. I'm not looking at Spy Tech and saying he sucks because of year one. Because again, everything worked itself out. For us fans, it sucked to win 3 games this year. Yeah, it was terrible. But again, look at the grand scheme of things. We're about to potentially get our quarterback of the future, and we have a full draft class. We have a ton of money. I think that he played this very, very well after missing out on Matthew Stafford and Ben Johnson in the offseason last year. So the abstract, I'm over the Maxx rumors. This team no longer get revolves around him. It's Mendoza, Genty, and Bowers' time. If he wants to leave, deuces. I'm not going to go that far abstract. I'm going to say this. Well, you know what? No, if he wants to leave, definitely deuces. But I'm always going to root for Maxx. He's a Raider at heart. He wants to be here, but he also knows that Father Time waits for no man, right? Abstract. So again, I agree with you, brother, but I'm not going to disrespect, man. And I'm not saying you disrespecting Maxx, but again, I'm seeing a lot of people out there, oh, Maxx, get him out of here then. He's done nothing wrong. Maxx has done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. He's done everything right up to this point. So the Sky High, Maxx is frustrated being a big fish in a small pond, but the tides are changing. I think he gives this new regime a chance. If it doesn't work, he's gone. Look, Sky High, I would love that. I would love for Maxx to say, you know what? I believe what they're doing. I believe in what they're doing. Let's run it back. I would love it. Because again, I would rather preferably have Maxx than go out there and try and hit on one of these draft picks. Honestly, I think that Maxx can still be a major piece to the puzzle for this Raiders football team, but it has to make sense for him and his family. And 1658, that was one of the things that I realized as well, right? Maxx never said Raider. He said, whatever happens, Vegas is home. Well, guess what? He has a home that he's invested in a lot, out there. Chloe, get over here. And he'll still live in Vegas. That's what I took from that was Vegas is always going to be home. Bro, his roots are laid out in Las Vegas. So it makes, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, that was a very, very smart response there. Vegas is always going to be home. Yeah. You'll probably be there in the offseason if you do get traded, from whatever organization. You're probably not going to want to buy a new home in a new area. Well, he will have another home, but he'll probably still be in Vegas, You know, his roots are already laid down in Vegas. But yes, I seen that. I heard that. And I was like, interesting. But again, I could be wrong. You could be wrong. But I feel like, yeah. What if Maxx was told by the Kubiak hire, which is why he's been in the building the past week in Raiders gear? I don't know. I'm coping. Alex, hey, man. Hey, I'll say this. The one thing I hate right now is Kubiak still has 3 days to be the Raiders head coach, and all signs are pointing towards him being the guy. He's already, the general manager out there in Seattle already said that he is, going to Vegas. Everybody said he's going to be the next head coach. The last thing I wanted, though, was some news like this to potentially change Kubiak's, mind. Like, oh man, this is what it's going to be. Being the Raiders head coach, your best player wanting to leave, and so on and so. This wasn't the greatest time for this situation to happen, and I think that Tom Brady, Spytek, and Maxx probably said, oh, whoa, that could be a reason why Maxx kind of pulled the plug on that situation as well today. Like, look, this is a big time for Raider Nation. There's a lot going on right now. The number one pick, you got your new, shiny, the big name hire at the head coach position. We don't need any unnecessary noise. I respect that Maxx went out there and shut that down today. But again, yeah. So to Alex, if Maxx is happier, if Carr's back from Mendoza, no. This has nothing to do with Derek Carr, brother. It has nothing to do with Derek Carr. Nothing to do with Derek Carr. All right, and we need to stop making anything about him. I know that DC came out and said, if you need any help with Kubiak, I'm right here, brother. Look, man. Maxx happiness is not tied to Derek Carr. Salute to 2-4, my guy. I only get my Raiders content from Shieldmore and a few others. I don't pay attention to the outside noise. I'm a Gen Xer, and we just grab our lunch pail. Talk that talk 2-4. And salute to all the other guys that you get your information from. It's much love and it's respect. It's no knock to anybody else. I'm just going off of what I heard from what I was told, you guys. Again, I'm not here to disrespect Maxx or his people. I don't want to add any more fuel to the fire in this situation. But when people are asking me over and over and over again, if you spoke to Maxx and you're getting this information from Maxx, I need people to understand that I didn't get anything from Maxx. I didn't. So I want people to realize that I'm not in that circle of where he said all these other guys speaking out for me, PR. I'm not speaking for Maxx because Maxx didn't tell me shit. I'm putting that out there right now. It'd be so easy for me to say, oh yeah, he did, and lie like most of these other dudes. I'm not going to do that. Even if Maxx was traded, there's no guarantee he wins a Super Bowl with another team. And Andrew, what happens if you get traded and then the Raiders win? What kind of mind fuck would that be for Maxx Crosby? I forced my way out of Las Vegas. Now the Raiders are winning. I'm on another team where we're not getting it done. And now the Raiders are one of the hottest teams in football. Could you imagine that, Andrew? And I think that may be going through Max's mind as well. Like, holy shit. Like, what if they turn this thing around in year one? I go elsewhere, and then it looks like I was the problem, which he wasn't, But again, be crazy. Graphk, watch the interview with Maxx and Dan Dakich. Where's that at, Raiders guy? Let me know, brother. Let me know, please. Or send it to me in the DM. I would love to check it out. And we're going to go over what Maxx said here in a second, you guys, so stay tuned. Again, I will read what he said verbatim so you guys can kind of take from this however you choose to take it. All this BS every single year is exhausting. Well, let me say this, DeMarcus. When you have a superstar in your hands that loses, that team loses year in and year out, you're going to have Pat McAfee. What did they say, right? What did they say? They spoke about what Jay Glazer said. What did they say? We would love to see Maxx fighting for Super Bowls and see him in meaningful games, right? You get it. You want to see all those competitors, in the playoffs year in and year out. You want to see, the greatest basketball players, the greatest baseball players, the football. You want to see these guys on really good teams because when meaningful games happened in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, you want to see them be a part of that. I would love to see Maxx out there fighting in the Super Bowl. That would be so dope because he deserves it because he puts the work in. So until we win, until we win, DeMarcus, there's going to be noise every single year. And we haven't won a ton. I think we won 7 games in the last few seasons with Maxx out there, as our star edge rusher. It sucks, but it's just realistic that, most people, especially former players that have played at the highest level, they're saying we want to see him play meaningful games. It's just simple and plain. Salute to Chef, man, my dog, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, I appreciate you. Salute to all the new members here in the building. As always, salute because of my guy, Chef. If you missed out on those 5, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Again, it definitely helps us keep the lights on over here at OLV Raiders Network. Let me see. Salute to Hug, man. Salute to Shalib. Salute to all my guys, man. Wipe them feet. Hit them thumbs up. Okay, DeMarcus, I just got the notification, my brother. I'm going to check that out right after this. We got a lot more to talk about, you guys, so stay tuned. I don't like your face today. I want a refund. You're just saying that because you sent me a message on Instagram, Hug, that said Maxx killed deaded all that, and I said, did he? I know why you're doing this, Hug. And salute to another 10 bomb from Shalib. He already gifted 20. Salute to my dog. He is losing his rabid ass mind today. My brother, salute to all the new members in the building. Welcome to Green Dot Gang because of my guy Shalib. And salute to the 1,100 plus people here in the building. As always, we appreciate you guys so much. Get those likes up and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Bodega, my dog, FU2. Love you, brother. Graphk, did you hear Mendoza on Coward today? Yes, I did, James. And you know what? I said this. I'm not the biggest Coward fan at all. I'm really not. But he asked a wonderful, phenomenal question to Fernando Mendoza, and the response was just legendary. He basically alluded to the fact that, watching him face Miami in the national championship game, it was like watching him facing an NFL, an NFL defense. The way he said it, it was so dope. I'm just like, wow, okay, Colin's on his shit today. And Mendoza, pretty much said, yeah, man, that they have 2 great edge rushers that are 2 first-round picks. He went on to say Jason Taylor, the defensive line coach, praised him, but he went on to say Ohio State's defense, was different. And, he picked them apart as well, way more than he did Miami. But yeah, I definitely loved that interview. I think that Colin was great today. Honestly, he wasn't messy. When the way he asked Maxx, what's going on right now, it was not messy. The way he spoke to Mendoza, and he said, you're going to be a Raider. Maybe that's the reason I really loved, the interview. But he said, you're going to be a Raider, but what he said, what else he said, you're going to be in a tough division. You're going to lose some games. And then he went on to talk about the Miami game. I loved it. I thought that was a phenomenal question. Salute to Colin Coward. Sometimes it's a very clickbaity, and he puts out some hot take shit that I can't stand. But I thought that was phenomenal work from him today, man, at Radio World. Salute to him, and salute to our future superstar, rookie quarterback. Our guy Mendoza. Salute to DeMarcus, my dog, gifting 5 of them things. We got like 50 new members already today, because you guys are the greatest. And I know I can't add right, but I think it's like 35, 40. But you guys are so goated, man. Salute to my brother, DeMarcus Webb. Appreciate you, my brother. Salute to all the new members in the building because of my brother DeMarcus, man. Always appreciate you, Webb, my guy. Now, this is what Maxx had to say, you guys. These were the exact words. And bear with me, because he had a lot to say. He was on the herd today with Colin Coward. And this is what he had to say about the whole situation. This is coming from foxsports.com. Salute to them. He said, I know my truth. And when I go to bed at night, I have a smile on my face because I don't have to explain anything to anybody. I've said it over and over again. I'm getting healthy. I'm in the building every single day. And I'm in the building before 6 a.m. when it's dark out. And I'm in here until almost 2 o'clock, almost 8 hours. I'm putting in straight work, rehabbing, lifting, getting prepared for next season. That's all I care about. So all the noise, it's news to me sometimes. I got up 2 days ago. Let me see. Lifting, get prepared for next season. That's all I care about. So all the noise, it's news to me sometimes. I got up 2 days ago. I looked at my phone, and all of a sudden now I got a bunch of PR people talking about what Maxx is doing. I just laugh because if I address it, then someone's going to pick it apart. What I said there, it's a lose-lose on the rumors about Crosby in the future with the Raiders. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm getting healthy. I'm going to be the best version of myself this year, and I'm going to put myself in the best position to do that. Remember those words right there, okay? I'm going to be the best version of myself this year, and I'm going to put myself in the best position to do that. That is a gem right there. Because again, I know that Maxx in recent memory has committed to the Raiders time and time again. But listen to that. I'll let people do all their talking. I'm all about action. Everyone knows what my actions are. I do the same thing every single day, and I'm going to be the hardest worker on the planet every single time. Crosby just signed a $106.5 million extension with the Raiders last offseason. Again, we know that that deal is through 2029, I believe. So again, but those were the words that kind of caught me right there. I'm going to be the best version of myself this year. And I'm going to put myself in the best position to do so. Okay. That's what caught me a little off guard right there and made me think that some of the conversations that I've had, again, there's some legs to it. My guy, man, Raider Ryder came through and dropped a bomb. My dog. I appreciate you, my brother. I think Maxx cleaned his yard up a bit, but I agree. There's something still in the air. My brother, man, Raider Ryder, man, one of the ghosts. My dog always comes through and just drops $100 bomb, man. My dude, I appreciate you, brother. You are forever respected, and I'm forever indebted for everything that you do for the platform, my brother. I appreciate you so much. And I agree with you. Again, he said it. He alluded to the fact that his people around him have told him, be a lot less vocal, move under the radar, move in silence, right? Simple and plain. And, I think today the media, because of the whole Jay Glazer bomb, kind of forced him to have to speak today. Do you think that Maxx wanted to do that, Ryder? I don't think that Maxx wanted to talk today. I didn't think that he wanted to talk today. Honestly, I don't. But I think that it was a situation where the Raiders have Kubiak coming in 3 days. They needed to somehow, some way clean this shit up. But again, there's something still in the air. Raider Ryder, my brother, I appreciate you so much, my dog. Salute to you, man. A goat. And my brother Funky, man, says, I'll get you 5 more to 50. My dude. Salute to all the new members in the building because of my guy, Funky Hair, man. If you missed out on those 5 again, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Salute. Manny King, yes. I didn't hear from Maxx, but I've spoke to several people behind the scenes. And it sounds like this has kind of been a situation, there's been a situation behind closed doors that's kind of been in motion for a while now. And I don't mean in terms of wanting to get out of Vegas, but there's been some different energy behind closed doors for a while now. So, and I've heard that from several people. So again, take this shit with a grain of salt, you guys. You don't have to, look, you can always think whatever you heard today makes you believe that Maxx is going to be in the building and he wants to be a Raider. I respect it. I definitely respect it. But yeah, I feel a little different about this situation. Salute to Mendoza. Having 2 separate reporters come out and say he wanted out on the same day before we have a coach signed or a DC in place is kind of dirty. This is facts. The Diana Rossini thing, Mendoza, I just kind of laughed it off because there was video proof of him and Mahomes talking about that at the Pro Bowl in 2022, right? I mean, he has his own podcast where he just praised Mike Vrabel the day before. You know what I'm saying? So it's so easy to say that shit. Oh, he told me. I mean, come on, man. Maxx didn't tell Diana Rossini shit. She jumped on the bandwagon and spoke on that. But the Jay Glazer thing hit a little different. Look at the timing, you guys, of the Graphk and Wasted show, the last one that we did. Look at the timing. We were just pulling up to just kind of light up Diana Rossini in that report. And then the Glazer thing came out. It's like, whoa. Hold on. This guy's a lot closer to the situation. And I think there's some legs to this. So yeah, but the media is crazy, man. I mean, look at Kay Adams and look what she's doing. Just being very irresponsible, going out there and to every player she speaks to about Maxx Crosby possibly going to their team. Like, it's just all surface level bullshit. Like, there's no, where is the actual content? It's disgusting. Like, I had to unfollow her yesterday. I was like, you know what? I didn't even know I was following her in the first place. I think I was following her because one day she retweeted something of mine like a year ago, and I followed her. But I was like, I gotta unfollow this chick because I don't like this shit, bro. I don't like this shit. And I see a lot of people, people only like her because she looked good. I think y'all be hyping her a little too much. Like, it's no knock to Shorty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to disrespect her, but I said it on Twitter, like, she's low-key mid. Like, I just look at she's built like a hotel toothbrush, bro. Like, I don't really see. I don't see what y'all see. Maybe I just have different taste, and it is what it. I know a lot of y'all be gooning for K Adams. I like mine with a little bit more meat on the bone. You know what I mean? I guess I don't know. I seen CM Punk put her in like a chokehold the other day, and that shit looked like pita bread. No disrespect, you know what I mean? No disrespect, but it is what it is. So to abstract, Spytek sitting Maxx was the right move, regardless of how Maxx feels. We play Maxx our last game, went out, lose out on Mendoza, and Maxx still leaves. Abstract, my dog. He says Spytek sit Maxx. It was definitely the right move. And I think that Maxx understands that, but he doesn't understand it because of the competitor that he is. Coach, don't ever ask me some stupid shit like that, bro. Don't ever ask me some stuff. I'm a happily married man, brother. Don't ask me no dumb shit like that. Get rid of that old ass Jamba Juice. It's frying your brain. Come on, man. I've been out the game for 15 years, brother. Again, salute to Abstract. Real quick, I don't know if you guys seen it because the news is all about Maxx Crosby here, but we did get rid of some coaches today. This is a glorious day in Raider Nation, you guys. You know that, right? Like, you know that. Do you know that Brennan Carroll is no longer a Raider? We spent an entire hour talking about the Maxx Crosby situation and in K Adams, all that other stuff. Brennan Carroll is gone. Like, we should have the celebration music hitting right now. Like, bro, like, Brennan Carroll is out of there. I love it. I love it. Real quick, remaining coaches in Las Vegas. We kept a few guys, at least retained them for now. Joe Woods, cornerback, DB coach, still in the building. Kenyon Jackson, assistant defensive line coach, still in the building. Rip Rowan, defensive quality control coach, still in the building. Luke Steckel, tight end coach. He is still in Vegas, which is great. He's a really great tight end coach. Dylan, my guy, running backs coach, is still in the building. I know that Kansas City interviewed him. I can see him leaving. And I think that Dylan is a really, really good really good running backs coach. I know I'm Notre Dame biased here, but I think that last year was kind of a really rough situation for him with how bad that O-line was because of Brennan Carroll. I would not be upset if they retained him. Again, you guys, I've said it before. I would be great with a clean slate, starting over from scratch. But if some of these guys are retained, they're still in the building. They can do some more firings tomorrow, the following day. But trust and believe, there's been a conversation that has been had with our new head coach, Clint Kubiak, about some of these guys. And he's probably checked those off like, okay, I'm good with some of these guys sticking around. So don't think for once that Spytek is force-feeding these coaches to remain there with Clint Kubiak coming in. This is a definitely an approach where, I mean, look at what Spytek said before. He said, I'll allow my next head coach to bring in his assistants, bring in his own coaching staff. But I think that it's very difficult to build an entirely new coaching staff, especially how late in the game this is. The hire is the last hire in this cycle, right? So you can't go out and get everybody that you want in the first offseason. So it's good to keep Luke around, dealing around. Rob Leonard is still in the building, you guys. For now, he's the defensive line coach. I know Maxx loves him. Maybe that's a selling point to keep Maxx around potentially, but he's still in the building. Connor McQueen, offensive quality control coach. he is in the building. So Joe Woods, Rip Rowan, Kenyon Jackson, Rob Leonard, Connor McQueen, Dylan, and Luke Steckel remain. People that were canned. Cade Rannings, assistant special teams coordinator. Bayer Rasul, assistant DB coach. Darius Swinton, assistant special teams coordinator. Marcus Robertson, safety / DB coach. Tyrone McKenzie, assistant linebacker coach. Joe Philbin, the OG, is officially out as the senior offensive assistant. John Glenn, inside linebacker coach, gone. Kyle Fuller, quality control coach, out of there. Greg Olson, salute to Ali. He is officially out. Now, maybe Kubiak thinks to bring him back as the quarterback's coach. I don't know. I heard that there's some potential mutual interest with the Philadelphia Eagles for Greg Olson to come out there and be the QB coach. So we'll see if Ali can land out there. But he's out. Nate Carroll, gone. Gone as the assistant quarterback's coach. Chris Beatty, wide receiver coach, out of there. Andy Dickerson, assistant O-line coach, out of there. I think I said Kyle Fuller, quality control. And then last but not least, we left the best for last. Brennan Carroll, the offensive line coach, is gone. In the words of the great boy band NSYNC, gone. That man is fish food. You love, love, love to see it. The Carrolls are out of there. No bloodline of the Carroll regime. Nobody is there anymore. Nobody. And it looks like Deuce is still around. Love to see that Deuce is still in the building. So he was not mentioned. So I don't know that they may keep Deuce around. He survives every regime, and you love to see it, man. A little bit of piece of Gruden stays in the building, forever, man. You love to see it. You love to see it. But yes, those are the coaches that were canned and the guys that were retained, at least for the time being. But Rob Leonard is still in the building as the defensive line coach, at least for right now. So he is still in the building. Chef, we need to do everything we can to get Shorts to Las Vegas. Chef, I don't know. Again, I think that he's potentially going to sit out this year. It's been reported that he's going to sit out for a year. And I think that he believes that he's worthy of being a head coach, and he's going to sit it out for a season. Could you imagine, Chef, if he goes to the Raiders right now, where we need an entirely new defense, and they shit the bed, and then his aspirations of being a future head coach are gone, right? I think that this is the right move for Schwartz. I think it's going to be funny because that Cleveland defense is going to get worse with him gone. So it makes sense for him to say, I'm going to sit out for a year. I'm going to watch Cleveland shit the bed on the defensive side of the ball and probably on the offensive side of the ball as well. And it's going to show these organizations that are looking for another head coach, wow, like he really meant something to that Cleveland Browns football team. So I think it makes sense for him to sit it out for a year, hold off, and then hit that next cycle next year, because he wants to be a head coach. And he really wanted the Cleveland job, which is crazy. It's crazy to think that all those guys were turning down those interviews, and he was the one guy that actually wanted the job, and he didn't get it. They gave it to Todd Monken. And I love Todd Monken, but again, kind of wild, man. So to cut the check, 26 first, 27 first, and a key player to whatever team wants him. Love him, want him to stay, but at the end of the day, this is a business. 8 surgeries in 7 years. Father time is creeping up. So to my guy, cut the check, man. I mean, if you can get a first this year, a first next year, and a starter, that'd be great. I mean, you look what Dallas got from Micah, right? So definitely. So to my brother Intel in the building. Always good to see my guy in the building. Salute to cut the check as well. Marty Graphk, what do you think of Sanjit's take on Tyler Linderbaum? I disagree with it. And I love Sanjit. And I know that the trenches is, what he studies the most. And I respect everything that Sanjit says specifically about the O-line. Sanjit's my dog anyway. I think that he is a phenomenal football mind, and I love what he brings to the table. But again, I disagree. I see a lot of people saying that, Andre James, because of how he is in pass blocking or pass pro, like I don't agree. I think he was 4th, I believe, or 5th in run blocking. He's one of the best run blocking centers in football. I think he was overall the 4th center according to PFF in football this past season. And I think he was 20th or 22nd in pass pro. So yes, he can get better. in pass protection. I get that. I understand that. But look, you got Kubiak, right? They're going to run the football a ton. They have Ashton Genty. With Linderbaum out there at center, you're gonna have my guy probably run for 2,000 damn yards, 1,800 yards, 1,900 yards behind a Linderbaum, Jackson, Powers Johnson at left guard, and a healthy Colton Miller at left tackle. So I disagree. I disagree. Now, I know that there's some tape out there where, he's kind of got dominated by bigger defensive tackles, and I get it. I understand it, right? It happens, though. Every offensive lineman gets cooked here and there. It happens to the best of them. It happens to the best of them. But I like Tyler Linderbaum. I've been a fan of him since college, and I think that he would be great in the silver and black. He's one of the best centers in football. Best centers in football. So I'm throwing a blank check his way. That's just me personally. And Brew, look, you guys know this, and I put this on Twitter again. I'm a major fan of JPJ at center, but back-to-back regimes had him at guard. And until Kubiak names him a guard or names him a center, bring me Tyler Linderbaum. It just is what it is. I'm not buying into the whole, this is the time now. Third time's a charm. He'll be a center. Until I see them put him back at center, I refuse to believe it. I think that Jackson Powers Johnson could be a great guard too. I think he could be an even better center. But until Kubiak says he's our center, bring me Tyler Linderbaum. Simple and plain. And I think that he could be an all-pro center. I know that some people, mention that he's not smart enough to communicate at the center. But I disagree. I think he could be a phenomenal center, but the concussions are a worry. He's had some injury history that I know that you're probably worried about. If he's at the guard spot, I'm good. As long as JPJ is a starter on this team, Brute, I'm okay with it. But if you bring in Tyler Linderbaum, I'm telling you now that strong side for Ashton Genty would be absolutely phenomenal. That left side, oh my God, Linderbaum, JPJ, and Colton Miller, that would be a fun left side of the offensive line, man. I would be hyped for that. Chef, I'm just ready for free agency to start and get this shit rolling. Facts, brother. Facts. Talk that talk, Chef. I can't wait, man. We're only, a month away? About a month away? Yes. For that tampering period to open up. I'm hyped, man. Intel, you stupid, bro. I didn't do anything to anybody. I don't even know what that entails. I just cut his water off. I just look, bro. I'm cool. God bless. That's it. So I don't know. People keep asking me that. I don't know if anybody's saying shit. I don't know. I'm just whatever. S. Dot, do you disagree with the film of Linderbaum getting his ass kicked looking like Kappa? And do you want him to get Rodney Hudson money, Graphk? Come on now. Yep, I do. Pay the man. And look, I'm not going to act as though I dove into the film the way Sanjit did. And I'll do some homework now, S. Dot, because of it. But I've watched Tyler Linderbaum a ton. And yes, man, again, every offensive lineman, center, guard, tackle, they're going to get their ass kicked here and there. But look, give me Tyler Linderbaum. Simple and plain. He deserves it. He deserves look, some people say 4-year, $80 million deal. Man, I'll give him 5. I'll give him 105 and 5. $100 million contract, 5 years. Bring him in. Make most of that shit guaranteed. I'm a big fan. of Tyler Linderbaum. So again, is what it is. Intel, you stupid, my brother. Intel, man. All right, we talked about the coaches. Again, for those who are just joining you guys, Greg Olson was let go. Nate Carroll, Chris Beatty, Brennan Carroll, Andy Dickerson, Kyle Fuller, Joe Philbin, John Glenn, Marcus Robertson, Tyrone McKenzie, Bayeb Rasul, Darius Swinton, and Cade Rannings are officially out, no longer coaches in Las Vegas. Luke Steckel, still around. Dealin, still around. Connor McQueen, still around. Rob Leonard, still around. Kenyon Jackson, still around. Rip Rowan, still around. And Joe Woods remains, at least for the time being. These guys are still employed from the Raiders. Talked about that. I wanted to talk about a little bit about this Fernando Mendoza situation as well. He was on the herd today, and this guy, man, are you guys as hyped as me right now with Fernando Mendoza? Like, I'm really, really, really like, it's kind of like I can't believe that this kid is going to be a Raider. Like I'm just, it's baffling because I'm so not used to the Raiders having good things. You know, back-to-back years, you get Brock Bowers, you get Ashton Genty, and now we're going to have Fernando Mendoza. This kid is just, he's a media darling. He says everything right. You can trust him to go out and have an interview with anybody, and he'll stand on business. The kid is so smart. He's eclectic. I like that. You know, the way his thought process is a little different, and I respect it. And you got to be a little different to be different, if that makes any sense at the NFL level. I respect it. I respect it. He went on there today, and this is what he had to say about potentially being a Raider and potentially working under minority owner Tom Brady. As a child, I was always a huge Tom Brady fan. I read the TB12 book, and I was always big on preparation because, like Tom, I'm not the biggest, I'm not the fastest, I'm not the strongest, but the edge is in the intellect and the preparation. So I really appreciate him preaching that message from a young age. And that's really important about being a quarterback, is being cerebral. And, you know, this goes off of Yahoo Sports. Salute to them. This is what Brady had to say about Mendoza not too long ago. This is the reality. I've only seen him kind of in one game in person, the national championship game. I watched a little bit of the Ohio State game. He's an impressive young man. What do I really value? When I see him and he talks about his teammates, when he wins the Heisman Trophy and he's praising everybody else, he added, there's an endearing quality for a great leader. You know, everybody, like I said, will be able to throw the ball, but can you run? All that stuff that's really overhyped and overvalued, because honestly, when you go on TV, they don't know how to value these things. When you talk about the combine, the misevaluation through scouts and personnel people is rampant. You think they always make good choices? No, they don't. So I have to look at it how I value it. And the things that I've watched over a period of time, what does my expertise show me? Well, it shows me that the mental, emotional part is the most sustainable trait throughout. So if you can find someone that has a mental and emotional baseline and that ceiling is incredibly high, I think with the work ethic, you can improve a lot on the physical skill sets. And I don't think this is just about quarterbacks. I think it's about all positions. But again, it comes down to selecting the right people that fit your program and fit the values of what you're trying to make the organization all about. And I love this because he also went on Pat McAfee and they asked him if he was going to go to the combine and throw. And he said, no. He said, you know, we're going to do a pro day and I'm going to throw my teammates. I love this. Like, I love this shit. Like he said, I want my guys, in a nutshell, not verbatim, but he pretty much stated, I want my guys to have the best chance of being drafted, you know, and I want them to have familiarity. You know, he wants to do a pro day with Omar Cooper Jr. and, and Elijah Surratt and those guys. It sounds as though he will not go to the combine, which I didn't expect him to anyways, but it sounds like he will be doing a pro day with his teammates to kind of give them a leg up going into the draft process, which I respect. One thing at the combine, you guys, that a lot of people don't look at that you need to is there's not a lot of familiarity there. These quarterbacks are throwing to these receivers for the first time in their life. That's why at the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl, when I go to some of these events and I sit there, I have to take notes and be privy to the fact that, you know, these guys are throwing the football and catching the football for the first time with these guys, these quarterbacks and these receivers. So it's kind of difficult to base like, okay, he's going to be great at the next level or he's not going to be great at the next level. You know, again, you know, every one of these guys are probably going to be having new quarterbacks throw to them at the next level. If you're lucky, you know, Omar Cooper or Elijah Surratt can be in Las Vegas with Fernando Mendoza and they can continue their career with their guy, right? But, you know, they get an offseason with these guys. They get an offseason. They get a full, off-season program where they can build that camaraderie, build that chemistry, you know, going into the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, right after the national championship and all this right around that time. You don't really get any time to prepare for that and any time to build any kind of camaraderie with any of these guys. So I love to see that, again, he's putting his teammates first. and he's saying, we're going to do a pro, we're going to do a pro day. And yeah, man, I love my teammates. And I want to make sure that they're, going into the draft with the best look, period. I love it. I love it, man. Well, Merk, let me say this. If he's at the combine, great, right? I mean, I'm talking about throwing. It's about throwing. Yeah, he may go there and go through, the workouts and stuff like that. Great. If he chooses to, phenomenal. He doesn't have to. He's clear cut the number one pick. But again, if you're not throwing, I don't even consider you really going to the combine. Got to keep it a buck here. I don't care what Fernando Mendoza's 40 time is. I don't give a shit what his broad jump is or whatever. I don't care about any of that. I don't give a fuck. I just want him to be in Vegas. I don't need to see anything else. I seen what I needed to see, the way he performed against the toughest talent at the collegiate level, throughout the playoffs, leading into the playoffs and the national championship. Salute to Cali, my guy, man, fresh off of work, checking in. My brother, man, salute to my guy on the $2 smack. Rooney, my guy, man. Appreciate you, my brother. As always, even Ashton spoke very highly of Mendoza and Kubiak. Yep, facts. Facts, man. I mean, did you see what Mendoza had to say also about Kubiak? About, him being familiar with this system and all that stuff. I want to bring this up real quick. We talked about what Kubiak said, about the perfect quarterback and how it sounded like, I'm trying to find the actual. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Hold on real quick, you guys. Give me a second. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? I want to find this. I had it up. I don't know what happened to it. Let me see. Fernando Mendoza. Bear with me, y'all. Again, I am running on fumes and I'm tired as shit. I have no sleep. All right, go to latest. Okay, I can't find it right now. Look it up if you guys can, and maybe I'll do a coffee and convo in the morning. We'll talk a little bit more about it. But he praised Kubiak's system. Praised it. Hug, I hate you too. I hate you too. But he definitely praised, that system and talked about it a little bit more, extensively than I'm kind of throwing it out there. Look it up, you guys. I had the article up and now it just disappeared. I don't know what the hell happened. Dan, I believe he did as well, but you have to give Josh McDaniels his flowers, man. I know as Raider fans, right? It's just like, oh, fuck him. We can't stand Josh McDaniels. We wish that never happened. Man, that guy went back to New England and worked wonders. Worked wonders with Drake May in year 2, improved that organization right to draft him to where they drafted him, got the best out of that ground game with, Ramondre Stevenson and Trayvon Henderson. I mean, even Henderson had some votes for Offensive Rookie of the Year. You know what I mean? He worked magic with Stephon Diggs this year and those guys. He deserved it. I think they both deserved it, definitely. But Sam Darnold was already coming off of, the big year that he had in Minnesota last year, going out to Seattle. And I'm not taking anything away from our guy, Clint Kubiak, at all. But he was already going up in Minnesota, under Kevin O'Connell before he went to Seattle. So did he deserve it? Definitely. That Seattle offense was crazy. Didn't they average like 28 points per game or some shit like that? This season, they look really, really good. He turned JSN to the Offensive Player of the Year. Salute to him as well, winning that award. Kenneth Walker had a big year. That ground game, looked good. I mean, look, he definitely was killing it. But you have to give Josh McDaniels his respect. As much as I can't stand the dude and hated, his time, I can say for sure I was wrong about Josh McDaniels. I thought he was going to come in and really get this thing rolling, and it didn't work. But you got to give him credit, man. I would have been good with Kubiak winning or McDaniels winning. I think they both deserve that for sure. Maybe it could have been like a Jason Kidd, Grant Hill type situation for those who are old enough to remember that. Let me see. Salute to Just Raiders, baby. My guy, man. Appreciate you, brother. Hug says Dan Kachich. I don't that last name. Max's face said he wasn't happy. Tiptoed and word chose. Okay, I'm gonna look this up afterwards, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, potentially in a coffee and convo or Sunday. So stay tuned. Jason, brother, call me, man. Call me, brother. If you need to talk, you know where I am, bro. You know where I am. Basp, if you want to check it out, brother, run the show back. I talked about Maxx for the first hour of the show. I'm kind of maxed out. Pause if necessary. And doom. Yeah, but salute to everybody here in the building. As always, get those likes up. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. Salute to the 1,200 plus people here in the building. Again, I'm about to go spend some time with the wife and kids. I've been gone for a week. But I'm going to say this. Take however you want, with this Maxx situation. If you feel that, what he said helps you sleep at night and that he's committed to the Raiders, great. If you're not, and you're kind of in my position where it's like, yeah, I don't really think that this situation, there's a little bit more to it with me personally. Take it as you may. You know what I mean? Like, look, it is what it is. But I just feel that the Raiders are being very clean this offseason. I think that Maxx understands that. I think that they're operating as a functional organization for the first time in a long time. And I believe that, they're behind the scenes making some calls and trying to see what's going on. I mean, I don't find it a coincidence now that Maxx is at the building today and, he's getting right and he's getting prepared for the, this upcoming season. Maxx is going to be Maxx regardless of where he goes. Maxx is Maxx. But again, when you say, I'm going to do what's best for me, when you say things like regardless, Vegas will always be home, you got to kind of read between the lines sometimes with some of the things that are being said. Oscar, bro, I mean, we've done like 3 shows in the past week, brother. We'll definitely run one here in the next few days or so. But, I do my own thing. He does his own thing. And then we form like Voltron, brother. So we'll be live at some point here in the next few. I just got the phone with him right before I did the live. So we'll definitely be running another one. Salute to Patriot, Bowers, Genty, Mendoza. People going to forget that the Raiders can't draft good. Talk, my brother. I want to say this too. There was a report that came out today. And again, take it with a grain of salt, you guys, because of the people that said it. But I want to talk a little bit about this before we get out of here real quick. Because I seen some people trying to, kill me for this. NFL rumors put it out there. I don't know where they got it from. The Vikings, Jordan Addison has been named a player to watch for this offseason for the Raiders. Okay. Now, there's a clear need for the Raiders at the wide receiver position, right? They're not going to be able to pay Jordan Addison. He's went through some situations out there where, they're not great. Right. He's been arrested a few times. And I get that. He's only 24 years old. They're already paying Justin Jefferson. They have some holes in that roster that they need to figure out. I know that he's undersized, you guys, 179, 5'11, 175. So, or 79. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's too small. Well, I watched what JSN did this year in Kubiak's system, and I beg to differ. I think Jordan Addison can be great. This is a kid that, this year his stats went down. I mean, Justin Jefferson's stats went down this year. They had a bad situation at the quarterback spot. JJ McCarthy has been bad. Then he was injured and they had a backup come in and then the backup come in. And, he only had 610 yards this year receiving, in 14 games. He was suspended, I believe, the first 3 games of the season. He had 3 touchdowns. But the first 2 years while he was out there in Minnesota, I mean, he had 911 yards his rookie season, you guys, with Justin Jefferson opposite of him, and had 10 touchdowns. The following year, 875, 9 touchdowns. He's 24 years old. He's still on a rookie deal, okay? He's a first-round pick, so you have the 5th-year option if you choose to. This is a guy, I understand, the whole perception of some of the things that he went through. Again, he's young. I would definitely take a look, at least make a call to see the availability. I know he's been tied to the Niners. There was some reports coming out that the Niners wanted to potentially make a move for him. Jordan Addison, to me, can be a wide receiver one, especially in Clint Kubiak's system. Minnesota's probably going to want to move off of him. You know, again, they've had some bad PR with him. A down year, 600 plus yards. Again, with the bad quarterback situation, they're going to probably double down with Justin Jefferson. They need some other. They need a run. They need a run game. They got to get that game going. I think Aaron Jones has 1 year left on his deal. He's getting up there in age. I understand that people are worried about what that would look like in Las Vegas. I get it. But at least I would make a call and just see what is there. He's 24 years old, you guys. You have him on a rookie deal. If you can get him for a 3rd round pick, why not? Like, why not? Or a future, let's just say you really, truly believe in him. And Kubiak says he can be JSN in this system in Vegas. Throw him a future 2nd if possible. Now, maybe there's another team out there like the Niners or one of these teams that'll throw an early round pick out there for Jordan Addison this upcoming season. We shall see. I don't know if the Niners, after all the shit that they've dealt with their receiving core in recent memory, would invest into that because of, you know, the situation with Ayuk and then, you know, they had a lot of this, you know, it seemed like Juwan Jennings was disgruntled, and I don't know if they would go that route right now, but I would at least just make a call. Why not? Why not? This guy could potentially be your number 1 guy going into his 4th season. He's still on a rookie deal, you guys. And again, if he's balling, pick up his 5th-year option. You got him on a nice contract for the next 2 seasons. And then you can work out a extension if you choose to. Again, I'm not here to say that this is possible. I'm not here to say that Minnesota is trying to move him, but I'm just going off of what they put out there today, that he potentially is a name to keep an eye on for the Raiders. Look, if you want a number 1 receiver and you think he can be the number 1 guy, and you're going into this draft and you're thinking, well, we need some defense after Fernando Mendoza, and you're going to take a flyer on a mid-round guy that you don't know can be a number 1, look, if it's a mid-round pick, if it's a 3rd round pick, I don't know if Minnesota accepts that again because of the deal and, you know, but his value is down right now because of the arrests and because of the suspension. All I'm saying is this: I would at least make a call, see what Minnesota will want, because his contract is nothing this upcoming season. And if you can, you know, unlock him with Fernando Mendoza and they got that connection, you have him with Brock and Genty. This can be a very, very, very fun offense to watch in year 1. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not here to sell Jordan Addison, but, you know, I went on Twitter and I said, you know, I would make a call. If I'm Spy Tech, I said, look, he gets a chance to potentially be a wide receiver 1. He's only 24. He fits the timeline. Spy Tech, make a call. I would love it. I would love it. So, Bodega. Question, Graphk, instead of Addison, if we were to get 12 and 20 from Dallas, that's a major if, because I think that Dallas would want to keep one of those picks this year. And if you bring in Maxx, maybe they move off of Pickens and they get a receiver in round 1 with one of those picks. I don't know. Would you rather wait till the draft to see if we can land Mekhi Lemon at 12 in Kubiak's system? Hey, man, Lemon could be a stud, right? And again, you know, look what he did with JSN. Look, I would love it. Yeah, and he's a Raider fan too, right? And Bodega, isn't his dad like a big Raider fan? I believe. I would love it. I don't know if he's going to last until 20. He could potentially be off the board by then, but I would love it. I would preferably, if we did move off of Maxx and we got one of those picks, could you imagine Mendoza and Lemon in the 1st round? Oh my God, I'm here for it. Then you don't even got to worry about a Jordan Addison. But again, if you can only, if Minnesota says, hey, we'll send him over there for a 3, you know, we're through with them. Too much shit going on. I think he will have his first 1,000-yard receiving year with the Raiders in year 4. Remember, you have to take some of this production with a grain of salt because Justin Jefferson is the main target there. So, but I understand people are worried about, you know, some of the stuff that he's done off the field, you know, the suspension. I get it. I totally understand it. It looks as though the Raiders are going in a cleaner direction, you know, especially with Fernando Mendoza. Do you want a potential head case in the building? That's why I get why some people don't want a George Pickens who had 9 touchdowns this year and 1,400 yards receiving, second team All-Pro, first team Pro Bowler. But, it is what it is. I get it. I get it. But again, do you want somebody that could potentially, get in the way of Fernando Mendoza's development? I totally understand that. I totally get it. Salute to my brother Bodega, man. But other than that, thank you guys so much. As always, I appreciate you guys for pulling up on me. We will be live again all month long. I have some dope guests coming up with free agency around the corner and the draft around the corner. Stay tuned. We're locking in guests left and right. So make sure you guys stay tapped in, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. We'll be lit all week long. And I want to say this again, you guys. We love Maxx Crosby. We all want Maxx Crosby to remain a Raider and retire a Raider. But understand this, and again, and I know Max knows this as well. This is always first. Simple and plain. Nothing goes over the shield. If Max wants to go, allow him to go. Go get our draft capital and let's build this thing up. Because we're getting younger. Max is not getting any younger. And he may think that, pastures may be greener in other directions. We shall see. But I do believe, personally, from making calls and getting some messages, that there is some smoke to this situation. And I think today was more of a PR move than anything. I'm not bought in just yet, but we shall see. Only time will tell. And I said this one more time on the way out, you guys, on Twitter, that, I said this even before the Max interview today, okay? Things change. Minds change. Nothing is ever done until it's done. Maybe a sit down can change things and put things into perspective before the draft. But Jay knows, like several others know, shit's real. Either way, the 2026 Raiders are going to be a fun team to watch. So take that as you may. Salute to my brother Tyler on the way out. Appreciate you, bro, on a $20 smackaroonie. My guy, my brother. Thank you for everything that you do for the channel, my dog. Thank you for all the W's in the chat as well. Robert Thick says, Graphk, don't miss. Great show. All my people, man. DeMarcus Fire Show. Appreciate you. CGR, great show. Lecky, W Show. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Tyler on the way out. Appreciate you, brother. Let me go spend some time with the family. Love. See you guys soon.